Ready? One, two, three.
Just started. I am glad. Let's see here. Glad to be able to come to you today and get started with the Come Follow Me program and getting settled in here. I thought, oh my, I love that video. On my grandkids and um, their passion for just having fun. Uh, so anyway, it's a wonderful morning. A day starting the day out with the Lord is always a good day. Again, as we announced that we were talking about Emma Smith's reaction to the first vision, and that'll be our subject today. And uh, we'd like for you to join us if you can on the program. Either leave comments as we articulate uh, the um, uh, and study the curriculum. Um, we'd also like for you to share and like this video and subscribe to the channel, and also to uh, again, if you want, I said comment, or I said that. Let's try this again. Well, I stumble once in a while getting out the gate, but again, trying to wake up so early in the morning. Let me turn off my heater. So it's getting kind of warm in here. Got so much insulation in this room. Really gets real. And let me turn on the lights. Okay, go turn on lights. There you go. Just a little bit more lighting for us. Anyway, again, thanks for stopping by and sharing this time with me to study the Come Follow Me program curriculum. Again, we're studying Emma Smith's and her reaction to the first vision and her journal. Um, and we'd like for you to like this video, share this video. See, boy, brain is a fog. Uh, Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. If you'd like to join me on Zoom, also you can request that through the comment section here. You can also find me at Facebook at Arthur A.J. Hill. Also, you can find me on For the Love of God group in Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram and a YouTube channel called A Latter-day Saint on Fire. There's been a lot of good content on the YouTube channel. Um, Also, I've got a little thing that I did with a anti-Mormon for a while that it's called Paul and AJ's Ex-Mormon Files. There's a lot of good content there. Um, so anyway, I'm all over the place. All over the place this morning, to tell you the truth, and not scripted, to tell you the truth. Sometimes I stumble get out the gate. I was up last night trying to get things in order and trying to, because my schedule is from 10 to 7 or 10 to 6:30, and I got home and my wife and daughter were discussing different things, and I'm trying to get out to the garage and do my thing out here and trying to make uh, make preparation for today's discussion, but family comes first, and I love my family. And but again, if you join me at this time, we're going to really get into stuff, and we're going to learn some stuff today about Lucy Mack Smith and uh, and what she told us about the first vision in her words. And just to let you know, she didn't tell us anything. Absolutely not one thing. I read through her journal, and there's not one entry about it. But there's some great understanding I uh, came upon as I was reading her discussion or her journal. Now the journal was recorded about 1844 or 45, and it took her a while. I mean, it's not a small journal. Um, let's let's see if we can find it. Actually, let me see if I can bring up another window over here to find it, because that's always good. I like to actually tell you the real on when she actually um, made her journal entries. Uh, Max Smith. Oh, it's I'm over here struggling, but we're going to get through this. We're actually going to learn something. So believe me, it's a good day to be alive, and we need to do everything we can to bring the Lord into our lives first thing in the morning, so that when we come up against trials and tribulations, like I am right now, he'll he'll guide us through it. Come on, come on. Where you at here? I got to put my cursor where it's supposed to go. Uh, Journal entry. Um, let's see here. Yeah, 1844. So it looks like um, that she starts this out. Well, doesn't say anything there, but you can find the whole journal online. It's all there, the original writing, manuscript, and then they'll put it in uh, form that you can really read. But they meticulously went through it, and a lot of people have. Um, but anyway, so 1844 to 1845, it looks like she wrote into this journal. Um, and so I'll just blare out the the obvious again. She didn't put anything about the first vision in there. It's not in there. I was like, I looked through the pages and read, and there's nothing there. And I'm a slow reader, but you know, and I've heard such items, but I was like, oh, that can't be. They're missing something. All right. No, they didn't miss anything. It's not there about the first vision. So why is that? Um, because in my opinion, I mean, it's only opinion here, she wasn't there. Um, and she wasn't connected to the moment. It was Joseph Smith's special moment in his life. And then she had maybe thought it was too sacred for her to put in her journal. Um, it was only supposed to be an entry by the prophet himself. I mean, if you're creating a fraud, if you're creating a fraud and you know it's a fraud, then you make every effort to to validate the fraud that that you are testifying to. So if Mother Lucy Mack Smith here is a part of the conspiracy to create a fraud, then she puts it in this journal, whatever elaborate story she wants to put in there, to make sure that it validates her son's story. And she doesn't. Because I think she's not a part of that story in a significant way. And we're going to discover where she starts to really become a real part of the story and where she feels like she is most most driven by the events that are surrounding her. And so I mean, again, it's not a short story, and I appreciate those who are joining me at this time. Again, leave a if you know the reason or if you have any opinion on why Lucy Mack Smith did not put the first vision into the her journal. My opinion is both it was too sacred and it was only for the prophet to because he was of the uh, he was connected to that moment. His interaction with her was seems to be small, according to what we learn in the Joseph Smith's history. He comes into the house and he says, "All is well." And she says, "Well, I've learned for myself that these other churches are not true." But there's not a lot of conversation there. And one of the journal entries that she has that he's not very talkative for on many subjects. But when he speaks deeply. So there's a lot going on here with why, again, so again, if you have an opinion why uh, Lucy Mack Smith didn't put the journal entry in, please leave a comment and share with us your opinion on it, because it's definitely not uh, to to hide anything. Anyway, let's go ahead and go through the journal pieces that I picked out that I thought were most significant, where you can actually see the character um, of Joseph Smith really shining through, even at a young age. Again, we're here to learn about uh, her connection to Joseph Smith. And like I said, unfortunately, we don't have anything significant when it comes to her interaction and her thoughts on the first vision. And so I was surprised. I was really surprised, even though I've been told, but I was really surprised. But let's go ahead and read this. Kind of interesting. They agreed to this after a short consultation. Um, Wherever it's been crossed off and stuff like that, that's her. When she wrote this, she crossed things out and tried to correct it, or somebody edited it for her as she was probably proofreading or whatever. So this was a handwritten document at the time. So again, where they probably edited it and they didn't have erasers and they didn't have backspace on their keyboards and stuff like that. So the people that went through this meticulously made sure that that when they entered it into the computer that they even added the sections or the words that were crossed out and the entries that were crossed out on her original document. So not to hide anything. And what she was thinking at the moment while she was writing. And I think that's a good thing. They agreed to this. After a short consultation, then we went to the invalid, the doctor, whatever. Like I said, if the grammar is wrong, it's her grammar, and I'll try to read it as best possible. We want to be straight with the word that she entered. Uh, Went to the invalid. The doctor said, "My poor boy, we have come again. Yes, again, and yes," said Joseph. "I see you have, but you have not come to take off my leg. Have you, sir?" An 8-year-old child is saying, "You haven't come to take off my leg. Have you, sir?" Now, again, this is Lucy Mack Smith entry into a journal that is, she's doing this in 1844. This event takes place when Joseph Smith is 8 years old. So it's about 1813. So it's, um, you know, my math is going to be bad, but it's more than 20 years. I know that. It's um, 31 years. Anyway, um, so she's going back, but she's seems to remember some details. And now those things are important to uh, say that if she's remembering these details very vividly, she was connected to the moment. And again, that's what she's doing. She's trying to connect to the audience of her personal interaction and how she was feeling at the time and how she was reading or she was hearing her son or the others around and how they felt, really a touchy-feely kind of moments in a lot of this journal. I see you have, but you have not come to take off my leg. Have you, sir? And this is an 8-year-old child. It's crazy. No, said the surgeon. It is your mother's request that we should take one more effort, and that is what we come for. My husband, who was constantly with the child, seemed for a moment to contemplate my countenance. Then turning his eyes upon his boy at once, all his suffering, together with my intense anxiety, rushed upon his mind, and he burst into a flood of tears and sobbed like a child. Yeah, I've been in those situations where there's nothing I can do about the the condition of my children and how they're suffering. And of course, you would weep for them and want the best for them. It hurts whenever that your children are suffering and you can't do anything about it, or somebody that you really become connected to, my wife uh, or whatever that looks like, a really close friend or a relative. Then it says here, this is where Joseph Smith's character really shines through, even at 8 years old. And I wish I should have put a picture along with this because we should remember that Joseph is 8 years old, an 8-year-old child. And this is what is going on in his life and how he's interacting with these people. The surgeons immediately ordered cords to be brought to bind him fast to the bedstead, but he objected. And when the doctor insisted that he must be bound or be confined, he said decidedly, "No, doctor, I will not be bound." An 8-year-old child suffering, and he's telling the doctor, "I ain't going to be bound," you know? I can bear the process better unconfined. Then said Dr. Storm, will you drink some brandy? No, said the child. Not one drop. Then said the doctor, will you take some wine? You must take something, or you can never endure the severe operation to which you must be subjected. No, answered the boy. I will not touch one particle of liquor, neither will I be tied down. But I will tell you what I will do. I will have my father sit in the bed on the bed close by me, and then I will do whatever is necessary to be done in order to have the bone taken out. Again, this is an 8-year-old child suffering, and he's telling the grown-ups in the room, this is how I'm going to do this. And they're listening, which is amazing, you know? But I think I'm sure that the whole situation is that they're inspired to listen to this child. And because the whole sequence of events is the fact that they're in a close proximity of a doctor that is a young doctor whose medical knowledge is far advanced from those who are old in the area. And he's the only one that comes and actually is able to do this procedure because he knows what he's doing. I mean, they're opening up the child's leg and they're scraping the bone and removing infection from that bone. Ghastly. No, answered the boy. I will not touch. Let's get down to it here. I've already read that part. Father sitting on the bed close by me, and when I will do whatever is necessary to be done in order to have the bone taken out. But mother, I want you to leave the room. I know that you cannot endure to see me suffer. So, Father, Father can bear it, but you have carried me so much and watched over me so long. You you're almost worn out. Then looking up into my face, his eyes swimming with tears, he said beseechingly, "Now, mother, we promise me you will not stay, will you? The Lord will help me, so I shall get through it with it. So do you leave me and go away off till they get through it. To this I consented. So after bringing a number of folded sheets to lay under the under his leg, I left. I left him going some 100 yards from the house. The surgeons began by boring into the bone, first on the one side of the affected part, and then on the other, after which they broke it loose and with a pair of forceps and or pincers. Thus they took away 9 large pieces of bone when they broke off the first piece. Then he screamed so loud with the pain of his leg that I could not repress my desire to go to him. But as soon as I entered the room, he cried out, "Oh, mother, go back. Go back. I do not want you to come in, well, I will tough it if you will go, when the three fractures was taken away, I burst into the room again, and oh my God, what a spectacle for a mother's eyes. The wound torn open to view my boy, and the bed on which he covered with the blood that was still gushing from the wound. He was pale as a corpse, and the big drops of tears rolling down his face, every feature of, and again, a mother's traumatic experience in this way. She's very detailed on emotional connections, how Joseph, the child, is interacting with people. Um, he's the boy child, 8 years old, took command of the situation, and the people were already listening to him at that moment, even though that he was surrendering to the doctors in every possible way, except for the conditions that he imposed upon them, that he would not be bound with cords, that he would not take liquor, and that his father would hold him, and that his mother would leave and not be there. And they all listened to his commands. Quite interesting. Now he enters more about some interactions, and you'll have to read the whole thing. It's a great journal. You can find this online. Just go find Lucy Mack Smith on your search engine, and say journal, and then the uh, it'll take you to her journal. And it's on usually Latter-day Saint, the Gospel Library. Anyway, so like I said, we're not doing all of it. We're just doing some of it. I took some excerpts out, but I think these entries are important for us to understand. She didn't write anything about the first vision. And like I said, if you have your own reason why she didn't do it, that's I appreciate if you leave a comment. Again, we'd like for you to share this video, like this video, um, uh, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment and let us know what we can do to enhance your interaction here. If you'd like to join me on Zoom, please let me know through leaving a comment, or find me on Facebook at Arthur A.J. Hill, or For the Love of God group in Facebook, or you can also find me on Instagram, a Latter-day Saint on Fire, which is also a YouTube channel. And so I have one other that I did with an somebody that's against the church, is Paul and AJ's Ex-Mormon Files. I did a bunch of videos over there. So there's a lot of content that I've produced, but here we're talking about Lucy Mack Smith, and how she interacted with Joseph Smith, and and how she dealt with the first vision in her journal. And she didn't write one word about it. But again, I say that she was writing from an emotional position, where she was emotionally involved, or was really a part of the event that was taking place. That's where she wanted to connect with the audience and those points, because the only entry we have are that it starts her entries about the church, or about the restoration of the church, only starts um, in at the time of after the first vision. Actually, it's at the time that Moroni comes and actually starts to visit Joseph Smith. And let's read that. I shall change my theme for the present, but let not my readers suppose that because I shall pursue another topic for a season, that we are stopped our labor and went at trying to win the faculty of Abrek, uh, drawing magic circles to, or soothsaying, or to neglect of all kinds of business. We never during our lives suffered one important interest to swallow up every other obligation, but whilst we worked with our hands, we endeavored to remember the service of the welfare of our souls. And again, if this was an elaborate hoax that they conjured up as a family, then she would further the hoax by putting an entry into her journal that really amplified the first vision. And she didn't. All right. So I think there's a way to, I think there's uh, an actual, what would you say, a validation of the first vision and Joseph Smith's uh, that event that took place in 1820 with Joseph Smith, because she doesn't try to enter it in again, because she starts at the place where she really starts to become a part of uh, 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 the work that's going forward with the book, which starts with the Book of Mormon, because she's got hands on and all. And we'll go through this journal. There's a lot. The three harvest time had, in this other entry we just read, she's saying that we're not neglecting anything in our lives. We're not neglecting the fact that we're farmers. We're not rejecting the fact that we still have um, to labor in uh, in our own. What, how does she say it? She says, uh, let's read it again. I shall ch I shall change my theme for the present, but let not my reader suppose that because I shall pursue another topic for a season, that we stopped our labor and went at trying to win the faculty of Abrek, drawing magic circles, or soothsaying, to neglect of all kinds of business. We never, during our lives, suffered one important interest to swallow up every other obligation. But whilst we work with our hands, we endeavored to remember the service of and the welfare of our souls. And she's backing people down, saying we're not going after any myths or any creation of of uh, uh, of hoaxes here. These events that I'm talking about are that actually happen. And I think that kind of points back to the idea that people um, are trying to tear down Joseph Smith's account of the first vision. And she's telling us there was no myth to that event. And even though that she didn't give us any account about the first vision accounts, but she's giving us a really strong statement here. There is no mythology in that event, because maybe it's in her mind, but she never enters anything about the first vision on her account. But like I said, she's entering things that she was physically a part of, that that she was um, engaged in. And the Book of Mormon is something that she was truly a part of. And so here we go. The harvest, the three harvest time had now arrived since we opened our new farm, and all our sons were actively employed in assisting their fathers to cut down the grain and storing it away uh, in order. One evening, we were still sitting till quite late conversing upon the subject of the diversity of churches and that had risen up in the world, and the many thousand opinions in existence as to the truths contained in the scriptures. Joseph never said many words, upon any subject, but always seemed to reflect more deeply than common persons of his age upon everything of a religious nature. After we ceased conversation, we went to bed and was pondering in his mind which of the churches were the one true church, the one true one, the true one. But he had not laid there long till he saw a bright light entered the room. When he looked up and saw an angel of the Lord standing by him. The angel spoke, I perceive that you are inquiring. So even after the Lord had told him in the grove, the sacred grove, that none of the churches were right, that they're all they have, that they're close to close by their lips, but not by their hearts. He's still contemplating the question. It never leaves his mind, which is kind of interesting. So I think there's still some what would you say conversation about his experience in the grove, because that's why she's putting it in here in this way, that even after the first vision, that he's still contemplating this idea that there's no true church out there. Why not? What's going on? And so the angel spoke, and I perceive that you are inquiring in your mind, which is the true church. There's not a true church on earth. No, not one. And has not been since Peter took the keys of the Melchizedek priesthood after the order of God into the kingdom of heaven. The churches that are now upon the earth are all man-made churches. There is a record for you and Joseph, but you cannot get it until you learn to keep the commandments of God. For it is not to get gain, but it is to bring forth that light and intelligence which has been long lost in the earth. Now, Joseph, be aware, or when you go to get the plates, your mind will be filled with darkness, and all manner of evil will rush into your mind to prevent you from keeping the commandments of God, that you may not succeed in doing his work. And you must tell your father of this, for he will believe every word you say. The record is on the side of a hill, on the side on the hill of Cumorah, 3 miles from this place. Remove the the grass and moss, and you will find a large flat stone. Pry that up, and you will find the record under it laying on 4 pillars of cement. Then the angel left him. And so I'm sorry for the way I'm stumbling and reading this. It's really quite hard because again, this is a journal entry. It was never, there was some editing on it, but it's not like she was, that, that they were really doing some hard line editing. So it makes it kind of hard to read. It doesn't read like the Bible at all, or Scripture. And for me, I'm able to read Scripture in the words of a prophet or apostle a lot easier than I am from a person that's just writing in a journal. That's just the way it is. I don't know why. So and so I'm stumbling. I'm sorry. Um, but some interesting things here is uh, there's some details like the grass and the moss that he has to uh, remove before, and he's talking about the value of the item that is in this box that he will uncover, and how he will be, what would you say, uh, seduced by Satan, basically, to want to gain from it in a monetarily. And I remind you this fact: the if you took the gold plates, and if they were 200 pounds, and you were to sell them, and in today's uh, gold price, the the price of the gold plates of 200 pounds of gold would be $6 million. I think that's the right number, but it's close to that. $6 million. All right. So again, even if it was, so the church bought the editor's manuscript from the Church of Christ, which is used to be the Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They bought that manuscript for $32 million. Right? There's probably some other things that were added on, but I'm just saying the value of the words that are written on the pages outweighs the value of the gold that that was uh, that was the original plates by far. And so again, it seems like the story is really that Lucy Mack Smith is really paying attention to what Joseph Smith is conveying in this interaction he had with the angel. That that with that even he that Joseph Smith, even he will be tempted by Satan to get gain from these records that are kept, because they're metal and they have some value. And so he's warning of that. And that, I mean, he goes for 3 years before he even receives them. Uh, then the angel left him this reference in, let's see, let me make sure. Yeah, then the angel left him this reference. Uh, okay, then the next part of this is an occasion that includes Edward Partridge, one of the most pious of all believers. Again, I'm sorry for, I'm not the best today. We're getting through some information that I'm unfamiliar with, but uh, again, that's why I need other people to join me. So whenever I'm interacting with people, that there's a lot better at, I'm a lot better at, what would you say, interacting and uh, dropping ideas. So again, that's why if you leave comments and things like that, it's a lot easier for me to articulate and to bounce some ideas off of while I'm speaking. So because a lot of these things I'm coming at them from a new angle. And so with that, it makes me really ponder some of the points that I'm making. And we should be pondering these points. Again, why doesn't, it's Lucy Mack Smith is uh, writing this journal in 1844, 1845. And this is what she's giving us as her experiences um, uh, with the church and the restoration. And this is the next entry that I wanted to read. This reference is for the writer of the reprise. Soon after they left, they began to preach and baptize. This is the members of the church, or it was Joseph Smith, I believe. Um, Soon after they left, they began to preach and baptize. And in the town of Kirtland, they baptized 2 or 3 persons, besides many others by the way. When they were about leaving, they sent word to Joseph that they wanted to some elder sent to Ohio, took charge, and presided over the church at Kirtland. He called John Whitmer, who went to Ohio and took charge of the church. Those appointed to go to Jackson when proceeded on their journey and still preached and as they traveled. The following December, Joseph came with his wife again to Waterloo and appointed a meeting at our house while he was preaching. Sidney Rigdon and Edward Partridge came in, and after the sermon, a request was made that any who felt to speak should make such remarks as occurred to their minds. Mr. Partridge arose and stated that he had been to Manchester in search in search of as to ascertain the truth of what we preached, that he had visited some of our neighbors in that place and inquired the character of the family. They said that the Smith family were very respectable people, and no one could say aught against them until Joseph deceived them about the plates. He had also walked over our farm and seen the neatness, order, and industry exhibited in everything around. He had seen what we had sacrificed for the truth's sake, and yet our enemies did not dispute our veracity upon any point about but that of religion. And now said he, I am ready to be baptized, Brother Joseph. Will you baptize me? Brother Partridge said, Joseph, you have traveled a long way this morning, and you are much fatigued, and I think you had better rest and take some refreshment and tomorrow morning be baptized. Um, did I read that right? It's kind of mixed up. And now said he, I am ready to be baptized, Brother Joseph. Will you baptize me? Brother Partridge. Now, this is what uh, said Joseph. Okay, now I get it. Brother Partridge said, Joseph, you have traveled a long way this morning, and you are much fatigued, and I will, and I think you had better rest and take some refreshment, and tomorrow, make him be morning be baptized, just as you think proper. Replied, whatever you think. Oh my, it's really hard to read this journal. Well, we tried anyway. So anyway, I'm all alone on this. All right. So it's really hard to articulate some points here and I apologize for my lack of being able to read today and articulate a real solid position. Because again, I'd heard such that the journal entry wasn't there in Lucy Mack Smith's journal, but I was like, there's got to be something. And but her, I'm convinced that Lucy Mack Smith knew that Joseph Smith was called of God to restore the church. Um, she there's a lot of entries where she talks about her experiences about going with Hiram on a mission, and that she helped um, uh, with donations for much of the work that was being done. So she's all in, and she never loses her confidence in the work, even after her her son is murdered. With her two sons are murdered, and she loses another son thereafter. And then her her daughters, a couple of her daughters leave the church. Um, but there's, a lot of things that she's enduring that she's still all in even up to her death. And so we have to take these journals, and I would suggest that you read these journals because I can't read them very well. So you might be able to get more from it if you read it yourself. Um, that she did not waver when it came to the events surrounding the restoration. I think the fact that she starts to really talk about the restoration at the time that Joseph Smith is visited by the angel Moroni. Now, some people try to take the events surrounding the angel Moroni and they try to say, well, this is, you know, identifies with um, one of the uh, drafts that we have from Joseph Smith on the first vision. Leave it out. Don't even go there because that's not what it is. All right. The fact that she doesn't try to force an entry into the journal about the first vision says that she, again, I'm repeating myself today because it would have been a lot easier for somebody to join me and do this. All right. Somebody of of great knowledge in history, more than I am. We could really had a good time with this. Again, if you have any comments, leave them about the subject. Again, share this video, like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. And again, she is she doesn't force that entry because again, if she's trying to create a validation for the uh, the calling of her son, Joseph Smith, as being the prophet of God, then she would do everything she can to to force that into the journal, and it seems like that's not what happened. And so I would say that it actually adds more validation that she doesn't enter into the journal than actually her actually um, if she had put it in there, you know. So I think there's positives on that. Let's see where we're at here. Um, Yesterday we talked about prayer. Um, so tomorrow we're going to cut this short. Tomorrow we're going to talk about Joseph Smith saw the Father and the Son, and let's and Jesus Christ. Joseph Smith trusted that God would answer his prayer, but he didn't participate. Let's make sure where I'm at here. Um, yeah, boy. Yeah, okay. That's where we're at. Sorry, like I said, it's been I didn't, my family kept me late last night. They bit me, let me get in here prepared like I wanted to. So again, here's where we're at. Again, we're going to share this screen so that you see it. It says, Joseph Smith saw God, the Father, and his Son, Jesus Christ. Joseph Smith trusted that God would answer his prayer, but he didn't anticipate how the answer would change his life and the world. As you read about Joseph Smith's experience, ponder the results of the first vision and how results of the first vision have changed your life. And that's something to ponder on tomorrow. And again, for the love of God, pray often and pray often always. And hopefully, again, share this video, like this video, subscribe to the channel, um, leave a comment. Again, if it didn't touch you, it could touch somebody else in the world. And that's why uh, even I'm just doing these every day, no matter what, no matter how good or bad it is. I'm here to start the day with the Lord and get and really get connected to him through this effort. And I'm hoping that this inspires others to do the same thing. And if you share time with me, or if you just say, well, he's getting up at 6 a.m. His time, I'm going to start getting up. It doesn't matter. I need this just inspire people to get into it, to actually study it, to actually become informed about the gospel, so that when we learn of new things about the gospel, we are eager to go out and share those messages with with our friends and family. That we're not withdrawn in ourselves, uh, because you can talk about these things, historical things, and bring the gospel into the conversation without bringing the gospel first. You bring something fascinating about our history, then it really takes off where you can actually start having those gospel discussions. Again, this is we're supposed to be out there gathering the house of Israel. Our efforts need to be reflective of that of the work that was given to us by our Father in heaven, Jesus Christ. It needs to be reflective of the testimony that we say we have. If we truly say that we have a testimony of Jesus Christ, then show that we have a testimony of Jesus Christ. Show that we have a testimony of the Father who gave his only begotten Son, for those who believe on his name will have everlasting life. Try, again, if you truly have a testimony of Joseph Smith, then then show it. All right. But if you don't have that testimony, then find it. Start really studying and praying and pondering about these things, and attach yourself to to the gospel of Jesus Christ as presented in the "Come Follow Me" and in the Bible, especially in the Bible. That's where I found my testimony of the church, through the Bible. All right, I was receiving inspiration from the Bible that this was the true church. And then there's another one out there I really love, the video, or it's just an audio, but you can find it on YouTube. It's Floyd Weston's 17 points of the true church. It's great. It's a great story that he tells, and he goes through where his friends and him come to the conclusion that this is the only true church based on the Bible, that a very gifted friend of theirs went through meticulously and created 17 points of the true church. Again, and they are in there. All right. So anyway, for that, I'm going to cut this short today. It was a good day. Start with the Lord. I wish I could have been better in articulating a well. Anyway, my mind is scattered, and I apologize. And I love those who were with me, and those who will also join me later in the recorded part of this. Anyway, for the love of God, pray often, pray always. And I know the church is true. I know that Joseph Smith is a prophet of God, and that we have a prophet today, Russell M. Nelson. And I say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.